I'm Rodney. I'm an alcoholic. I originally was born in Puerto Rico. I was born and raised there until the age of 10. We migrated to New York City in 1978. My mother went ahead. She was running away from my alcoholic father, so we ended up migrating there because of that reason. She was recently divorced from him. Very abusive, very toxic man. Uh, we came here. Once we got here, I was 10 years old and didn't know a drop of English. Didn't know a word how to defend myself, uh, both physically and verbally. It was a tough time because in the neighborhood that we ended up living in New York City was Bushwick. At that time, in the 70s, was a very rough neighborhood. So I had to learn the hard way how to get myself out of situations, both verbally and physically. So when I got here, I tried to stay away from being bullied. So I created two personas. I created Rodney, being the way you pronounce my name in Puerto Rico, and then Rodney being the way you say it in English. So I started getting away from that type of persona, like a dual personality type of thing. So my role models at that time was actually the Fonz, Arthur Fonzarelli from Happy Days. So that's how I started learning how to some of my mannerisms, some of the things that I learned how to be a man was actually was I learned from that type of character. Um, how to act, how to interact, how to be cool, how to be a tough guy and stuff like that. And the fact that my mother one time I was getting some blood work done, excuse me, and the doctor said that he needed to draw some blood. I'm thinking that like any kid would do that, would go to the worst case scenario. So I thought they were gonna actually hit me with a needle and take out a tube of blood, and I started crying. And I said to myself, I gotta be cool like Fonz, like the Fonz. So from then on, I said I would never cry. Um, I'm not gonna show that type of emotion about any type of physical injuries. Very early in age, I started learning how to cover up and how to not show any type of emotions. Let it be, even to myself. I would test. Even I was standing in front of the mirror and actually, speak to myself and see what emotion, what type of emotions would actually be conveyed through my facial expressions. Um, so I became a great actor, I guess. Not showing that I was what was going on in my mind. Um, I found a friend, alcohol, and he didn't mind. He didn't mind. He didn't care that I had an accent. He didn't care that I was picked on. He didn't care that I was bullied. He didn't care that I was socially awkward. He gave me strength. He gave me power. He made me, be Rodney, not Rodney. So I ran with it. I ran with that. My first job was delivering ice back in 1983, and I was able to afford my first pair of Adidas. Man, that was a big deal to me at that time. So got myself a pair of Adidas. Started trying to be more Rodney instead of Rodney. That's how I started building my confidence, but underneath, at the same time, that's when my addiction started evolving. I started becoming more dependent on my friend, building up Rodney. And it didn't matter to me what, that I was getting into trouble because of the drinking. I was, to me, I was accepting myself more because I was numbing myself, numbing the pain and the humility and the being, I stopped being a victim. So that was how I coped with, my, even at an early age, my drinking was spiraling out of control, but I thought I had it under control. At that time, I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care. I didn't give a damn. I didn't. It was me doing me, my way. I was being Rodney. So it progressed. My mother used to hit me a couple of times, but hey, I was paying for my own drinks. So what can you say to me? You told me to be self-sufficient, so I'm being self-sufficient. So under the same thing, you can't tell me how not to drink when I'm paying for my own drinks. That's how that's how I justified it back in those days. So she threw me out at the age of 19 because I was, I wouldn't help her because I was being self-sufficient. I was making $24,000 by the age of 21 and hustling drugs at that time. So that was, to me, that was an achievement. Wow, what an achievement. Hustling drugs at the same time. So, but that was, my main goal was that I wasn't going to be hungry. I wasn't gonna be thrown into the streets. I had an apartment. I had the furniture. I had 25-inch TV. At that time, now it sounds, like, wow, a 25-inch TV. But at that time, and we're talking about 1988, that was a big deal back in those days. So I ran with that. But I was an alcoholic. And my insecurities I took out on my ex-wife. Both physically, mentally, spiritually, I demoralized her because I wasn't sure of myself. I was still being bullied in my mind. My mind kept going back to that, to what happened to me in Puerto Rico, and that I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be Rodney. I wanted to be Rodney, successful Rodney. But I was also becoming Rodney, the alcoholic. Got out of that marriage. Eventually ended up getting arrested. And I thought I was a badass motherfucker. I thought I was bad. I thought I was so cool, man, until I went to central booking. Yeah, that was a harsh, rude awakening call. I found out that I am not that tough, man. I'm not that Rodney. I'm that Rodney. Yeah, that I didn't like that. I didn't like it at all. So as the years went by, I got myself into another relationship. My drinking became. I was a weekend warrior. I thought that I could, control it. I was controlling it at that time. I was justifying it. I was playing the. Well, I work all week. I need a reward. I need a reward system. So my reward was drinking, drinking until I passed out, drinking until I was numb. Putting on the facade, that made me happy. I got myself into a new relationship. She has a son. I thought I was ready to have what I call an instant family. Didn't know what that consisted of because I never had any children. Being an instant father, who am I going to use as a role model? I mean, as a role model, Fonzie, my father. No, I thought I had it covered. Obviously not. 10 years into our relationship, she got cervical cancer. And I didn't know what cancer was. I thought it was just a word. Didn't know the meaning behind it. Didn't know what it consists of. Um, to see her go through that, I I seen death. I seen people die. I seen people, but to see it in her eyes when they were taking her to put to put a catheter in her and in her privates, and to and that though the fear of death, to see her in her eyes, and I'm standing behind and looking at her going, and I didn't know what words to use to actually. And that's, you know, she went through cancer. She is a cancer survivor. You know, when she went through all that, cancer in some remission. Uh, we get a phone call that her brother OD'd, and we were. It was, unfortunately, it was Halloween, so I thought it was a joke. We thought it was a joke, and the police calls us saying that we need to get to the hospital right away, and we get to the hospital, and we still, we're in denial. We all in denial that he's younger than me. He was, and I was a baby brother, and to go through cancer and then see her brother dead, body bag, still right up to the neck, and the ice. And I'm standing there, sitting down, standing up, sitting down, not knowing what to do. You see the mother, and you see Maribel. You see my mother-in-law. You see Maribel, and both of them are trying to wake him up. He OD'd. They found him with a needle still stuck in his arm. And these two women are there asking him, why have you done this? Why did you do? Frankie, why? Wake up, Frankie, Frankie. And I'm saying, I'm like, and I'm the godparent of his firstborn. And I'm going, oh my God, oh shit, whoa, what the hell? I addiction is no joke. Addiction is, it takes people. I ended up following up on my plan to get a city job, to have a retirement plan, have some type of safety net after I hit the age of 62, 67 maybe. Just, I kept thinking, going back to those eyes, her eyes right before she was being taken away, and those eyes always remain with me even to this day. Um, things have gone wrong with our relationship. Uh, I got laid off. I started picking up cocaine to maintain my drinking. Every time I felt a little drowsy or too drunk, I would take a couple of hits of cocaine just to wake me up. Um, We lost the apartment, 17 years in that same apartment. They threw me on the streets. I, I stopped giving a fuck about myself. I started covering up, drinking more heavily, kept drinking, kept drinking. I didn't give a damn. And it got to the point where, you know, I stopped giving a damn about me, about her, about my life. Now the drinking has gotten worse at this point, and I was asking God, you know, why don't you kill me already? So I started mutilating myself, you know, testing to see why is it that I'm not able to feel things, only the internal pain, not the external. And I tested that theory over and over again, you know, smashing my head against windows, doing the stupidest things you could think of. I didn't like myself. I don't like myself. Even today is still a process that I have to go through. They ended up throwing me out in the streets, sleeping in shelters, sleeping in the subways. The same entity that I used to work for, the same people that I used to work for. Made a mess out of my life. Thinking that everything was, I'm gonna show the world that, you know, they keep calling me a mess up, a fuck up. I'll show you how much of a fuck up I am, how much of a fuck up I could be, how much of an alcoholic I could be. The drunk or the high wasn't fun anymore. It wasn't a drunk or a high. I started actually asking God to take me out of my misery, to put me out, to get the job over and done with, to rid me out of all this turmoil, all this craziness that's going on in my mind, to get rid of the addiction. Towards the end, to maybe about 6 months ago, I kept asking, and the pint could not calm that beast. And Maribel took it upon herself to, you need help. You need to get the hell out of here. She made a phone call. She reached out to get me help. She contacted these people. I have no idea who they were. Now I do. There were people that actually, I kept saying, get me out of here. Get me out of my disease. Help me with the disease. I didn't know it was a disease. I didn't know it was what it was. I didn't know that I had inner demons, turmoil. I didn't know how to process this thing. July 26, 2017. It was the day that I was scheduled to get on an airplane. So on the 25th, I decided to get drunk. I started getting drunk, getting high. And I kept telling them, you want to get rid of me? Okay, you get rid of me, all right. I got on the airplane, scared out of my mind. Scared, just plain scared. And I get off the airplane, and there was this gentleman, Mark, and his son, Brandon, waiting for me there. They started talking to me. I was scared. I was like I didn't know how to say these words. I didn't know how to say this one word because I was scared as hell. I was scared to death. The word was help. Help me. I'm in trouble. Help me. How how do I say this word that you could understand how I'm saying it? This guy sat there and he listened to everything I said, every single thing I said. And he looked at me, he kept going like, yes, I didn't understand that because I didn't know that he was in recovery. I thought he was pulling my leg. He told me to sit, to have a seat, try to get some sleep. He showed me my bed. And for the next couple of days, I was scared out of my mind. I'm in California. I'm going to be 50 years old. I'm back to being Rodney. I'm back to being a little kid. I'm confused. I'm angry, very angry, scared. But it started getting better. And little by little, I started dropping my guard because I was being taken care of. I thought that alcoholism, addiction, was all me. It was all it was my little curse. It was my hitting shit. You know, my hitting thing that nobody knew about that. Nobody knew how to be an alcoholic. Only I did. That was my thing. I started learning that I'm not alone. That my guard started coming down. The staff, the counselors, to this day, sometimes I feel like, man, nah. I feel sheltered, man. I feel like I'm at home. And it's weird because I don't have my buddy. Alcohol. Cocaine. I don't have Maribel. I don't have my family. But I feel that there is discomfort. There is comfort. I'm able to put my guard down. I'm not able to hide. Funny thing is that I didn't lose Maribel to cancer that day. I didn't lose her to cancer that day, but I lost her because I was selfish. What an asshole, man. I lost her because I was an alcoholic, not because of cancer. Because I'm an alcoholic. I've been through a lot of things. I'm 50 years old. I've seen a lot of things. And to this day, every single day, I get amazed. I get shocked by the way they have handled my difficult character. How they handled me, Rodney, and Rodney. And they could ask anything from me. I'll do whatever it takes. They have to help me so much. I can't say no to them. I owe them my life, because if it wasn't for them, I would be in the streets. I would have killed myself. I would have literally have grown enough balls to actually kill myself. I was on that type of mission. I was in that type of pit that I did not want to live anymore. My self-esteem, my addiction was so bad that actually I wanted it to end. And I would have, like I said, I would have grown enough balls, big enough balls to actually end up taking my life. Look at yourself, take a hard, deep look at yourself, or ask people around you. Ask people around you. Don't even take your own word for it. Because I couldn't take my own word for it. I thought I was fine. I thought I was handling this. I'm not an alcoholic. No way. I don't have a drinking problem. You have a problem with me drinking. Get somebody else's opinion. Get somebody else to actually tell you if you have a problem or not. And take their word for it. Take somebody else's word for it, because I deceived myself. I didn't have a problem. I never had a problem with drinking. I'm not an alcoholic. But other people around you know you are an alcoholic. Other people know that I'm an addict. Other people know, they see different things. They see my behaviors. They see the cheating way, the conniving way, the con artist way. Ask somebody else to take a look at you. If you can't take a deep, hard look at yourself, ask somebody else. Somebody that you trust and you care, and do you honestly, care for their opinion. Not somebody that's going to buy into your bullshit. Because that's every day. Somebody that's going to give you a good smack in the face with the truth. I have 111 days clean and sober. That's the most time I ever had without a drink since I was a teenager. My name is Rodney. I'm an alcoholic, and I stand for recovery.